Hello everyone, my name is Emerion and welcome back to Theory Thinker with Elite Cameraman. He reached 100k last time, so help him reach to 150. Let's go.
Hello everyone, Elite Cameraman here. Today I'll be talking about and analyzing Season 18 of Skibidi Toilet. Since so much has happened in episodes 54, 55, and 56, I'll cover all the secrets and Easter eggs in these 3 episodes that you might have missed or didn't notice, including the cameraman that's blindly in love with our beloved TV woman. We'll talk about the glitch Skibidi Toilet's comeback, how powerful TV woman is since she stopped the glitch Skibidi Toilet with ease in episode 54. We'll also talk about everything in episode 55, including the secret agent watching over the plunger cameraman's movements, the new giant skull Skibidi Toilet. And lastly, I'll cover all the secrets and Easter eggs in episode 56 and talk about the comeback of the Titan speaker men, what the TV men said and what that means for the cameraman, and how they are going to deal with the Titan speaker men. So if you don't want to miss anything, watch the video until the end. Also, make sure to like and subscribe. We are almost at 100,000 subscribers, and we might have already crossed it when you are watching this. It's all thanks to the viewers who are supporting the channel.
Woohoo! Yeah, you already crossed it, my dude. I really hope you do see my videos. And I just want to say hi. Hello, Mr. Cameraman, Elite Cameraman. This guy truly is elite. He just posts like so many videos a day. So god damn. And also help him reach 150k subs.
Thanks for watching the videos, and let's hop right into the video. We start the episode seeing a normal cameraman with a brown suit that's looking at a picture of TV woman while she was using his purple beam on episode 49. This most likely means that this cameraman was the POV cameraman of episode 49, and he most likely got a crush on TV woman after being saved by her countless times in one episode and her hugging him to teleport to the cameraman base together. Most likely made him more obsessed. I mean, who wouldn't want to smash the TV woman, am I, right? Anyways, let's get back to the analysis. We saw the TV woman use her purple TV beam in episode 49 as well, just like today's episode, but we didn't really know what it did, but we'll talk about that later in the video. After we see our simp cameraman looking at the picture, the POV cameraman of this episode waves his finger to tell the simp cameraman that he shouldn't be simping for the TV woman, but we all know that he is not gonna stop.
And also, by the way, the POV cameraman for this episode was plunger cameraman apparently.
Right after this, we see the simp cameraman surprised, and he points towards our left. We see a jetpack Skibidi Toilet coming towards us, and we pull out our new gun and shoot at him. But if you didn't notice, the colors next to the guns are different in this episode compared to episode 53. As you can see here in episode 53, the gun has a red glow instead of a blue one. This could mean that these weapons have different settings that shoot different projectiles. In today's episode, we see that the weapon shoots a blue laser that stuns the Skibidi Toilets and gets them to a state of freeze. We see our cameraman literally hold the Skibidi Toilet's head while it can't do a single thing. But if you look closely, we can still see that their eyes are moving, which most likely means that they can still see what's happening. And right after this, we smack the Skibidi Toilet and so hard that he faints and flush him right after. But that's not the end. We hear a Skibidi Toilet singing the Skibidi song that's on the roof literally half a second later, and this spider Skibidi Toilet has a machine gun on a weird spot and it wiggles weirdly. I don't know what the creator was thinking while making this episode, but this was one of the goofiest episodes ever made. After a moment, the new machine gun spider Skibidi Toilet starts shooting us, but it sounds like it's hitting a metal or some type of armor when he shoots us. This most likely means that the cameraman have upgraded their suit to be bulletproof, or at least just some specially selected cameramen have gotten this upgrade, because otherwise we would have been long dead after the first bullet hit us. While the machine gun spider Skibidi Toilet is shooting us, a large cameraman comes in to rescue us and throws his melee weapon to the machine gun spider Skibidi Toilet's machine gun, and the gun breaking makes his whole body glitch and freeze. That's what you might think, but as you know, we saw what the long-range guns do, and they stun the Skibidi Toilets, and these sticks are most likely melee versions of the same weapon. and they most likely have the same electricity type effect which stuns the Skibidi toilets.
Oh, like
After the Skibidi toilet gets stunned, he falls down from the roof, and our large cameraman flushes the machine gun spider Skibidi toilet and gives us a thumbs up. But this is where things take a huge turn. We hear the weird glitched Skibidi bop bop yes yes sounds that we heard in episode 29. And before even the large cameraman can react, his head gets obliterated by the glitched Skibidi toilet. As you know, the glitched Skibidi toilet was one of the most overpowered Skibidi toilets to ever exist, and he shows us why that is the case in this episode. In a single moment, he kills 4 to 5 cameramen without even being seen by anyone. He is so fast that even if you freeze the frame or slow the video down, it's still so hard to see him. This incredible speed is something the Skibidi toilets are most likely experimenting with, because we saw a larger Skibidi toilet almost get to these speeds in episode 53 a few days ago, but that's not even the most impressive thing. What happens after shook me more than glitched Skibidi toilets come back. The TV woman teleports and shows up a second after the glitched Skibidi toilet comes in, and what she does is insane when you think about how powerful the glitched Skibidi toilet was. But before we get to that, I want to talk about how the TV man and TV woman can show up right on time almost every single...
Before you say that, I just noticed a pattern for the glitch Skibidi. It continuously goes for the head. It doesn't try to go for anything else to disarm them. It just goes straight in to hit the weak point, which is its flaw because we all know TV woman can just dislocate her head.
Time. Either the Titans, females of the Alliance, or entities that are of high ranks in the army can most likely have the ability to detect where others are. This might also just be a special ability for the TV race also, but we can't really know until we have more proof of this. Or it might just be that the communication is so fast among the Alliance, and when help is needed, the entity that can handle the situation shows up instantly. Anyways, let's get back to the episode 54 analysis. If you want to hear me talk about more theories about TV men and other stuff, comment down below and like the video. We see the TV woman teleport into the battlefield with a confused OO face. This most likely implies that she wasn't really aware of what's going on, but instead she most likely got a stress signal and just showed up without knowing what's going on, and seconds after her head gets thrown away. But as you know from episode 49, her head can be dismounted and is a tool on its own. This fact alone makes her the counter of glitched Skibidi toilet, since the glitched Skibidi toilet usually flies so fast into his enemies' heads and obliterates his enemies. Right after the glitch Skibidi toilet hits the TV woman, we can see that she is taken by surprise if we slow down the footage, because until the first spin, her face doesn't change. And thanks to her fast reflexes, she changes her mode to the purple beam right after, starting to spin around at incredible speeds, most likely to catch the glitched Skibidi toilet before he can attack anyone else, and this does work. We didn't really know in episode 49, but from the looks of it, the purple beam selects a target, and mind controls that target and pulls the target to her. In episode 49, she used this ability on the cameraman with the brown suit in this episode, and maybe the mind control also has an effect that makes the person that was affected have a crush on TV woman. I really don't know, but this might be the case. We'll most likely learn this later on in the series. While TV woman was using her purple beam to stop the glitch Skibidi toilet, a blue dart is shot at the glitch Skibidi toilet's head, causing him to completely get stunned and freeze. This is a more powerful stun compared to the stuns we saw at the beginning of the episode, because we can't even see the glitch Skibidi toilet move his eyes after the stun. My guess is that the cameramen are not going to kill the glitch Skibidi toilet, but instead let the scientist cameramen inspect and study the glitch Skibidi toilet to learn how it can go up to speeds that are invisible to the eye. This will most likely give the cameramen the upper hand against the newly upgraded Skibidi toilets that are on the way. It's crazy how much the cameramen have improved in the last few episodes alone, and it looks like other species of the Alliance needs to catch up. Right after the glitch, Skibidi toilet gets stunned, the TV woman gets her TV head back into her body, and we see a troubled emoticon face that most likely implies that she owes the cameraman that saved her now, or that this was a troublesome job that they just did. Right after, we see a new scientist cameraman that's in a mecha suit. This most likely means that after what happened at the cameraman base, Every single member of the cameraman species started working on new stuff to get into the battlefield, no matter their expertise. This new mecha suit contains 4 different weapons. As you can see on the left bottom, that's most likely a modified version of the new gun all the cameraman now uses. As we saw at the beginning of the video, they stun the skibidi toilets into a state where they can't do anything other than see their surroundings. The weapon on the left top is most likely the new stun dart the mecha scientist cameraman shot at the glitched skibidi toilet. The weapon on the right top, as you know, is most likely a modified version of the electromagnetic parasite disabler that cures the infected Alliance members. I don't really know what the weapon on the right bottom is, but it does look like a grenade launcher or a rocket launcher. It might also just be a machine gun, but we'll most likely see it in action in the coming episodes. There is also a black Polaroid camera on top of it, but it doesn't have any signs of being a weapon for now. This new mecha cameraman looks insanely overpowered. If I'm honest, it has everything you need to fight against the skibidi toilets, and this most likely is a prototype version because—
Wait, what's that side? What are the statues? And also, this is the control panel. Yeah, it does look like a Polaroid. What is this? Is that supposed to record the battles for further studying or something?
When you look at it, there is no armor that'll protect the scientist cameraman. My guess is that after a while, they'll also have protection in the front, and it'll be like a capsule. And over time, maybe the scientist cameraman will start building more machines that are on the scale of the upgraded Titan cameraman. After the mecha scientist cameraman saves the day, he gives his thumbs up. And while this is happening, we can see the engineer cameraman running to the battlefield right after they got out of the helicopter camera, as you can see on the back. They are most likely going to check the battlefield for any remaining cameraman that can be saved after the glitch cameraman's attack. But after this, we get to the funniest part of this episode. And if I'm honest, the brown-suited cameraman might be one of my new favorite cameramen. He really is a man of taste, and he never gives up. We see him running towards TV Woman, trying to hug her, as we know by now that he has a crush on her. But she just teleports away, leaving our brave cameraman just like that, making him sad. I hope one day he achieves his dreams and gets to hug the TV woman, maybe even marry her, because from what I can see, he is a real man. We start the episode seeing the plunger cameraman on top of a dead skibidi toilet pile that most likely the plunger cameraman—
by the way, this is the analysis for season 18, like all of it.
And handled all himself. And I don't know if it's just me, but in the first second of the video, he looks like he is having some deep thoughts, maybe about the war, or reflecting up on himself because he is killing so many entities without any mercy. Or maybe he is just tired of the war, and he just wants to go back to normal. He rose to the top too fast when you think about it. It really must be tiring to handle all the expectations for him at this point. Right after this moment, we see that we are in a ruined city. You might think that we are in the same desert-like ruined city from episode 47, but in this episode, the creator of the series didn't include any maps in the description section. But if we go to episode 47's description and check the map there, we can clearly see that this is a different place. Unless the creator of the series wants us to think that it's the same place as episode 47. If you do ask me, it would make more sense that this is the same place from episode 47, because as you know, the new upgraded electromagnetic parasite disabler tank is made to cure the infected Titan speakermen, and remember where he was running away to in episode 47. He was most likely trying to get to the skibidi toilet headquarters, and it's most likely close to this ruined, deserted city. This would also explain why there are so many different upgraded skibidi toilets that we haven't seen before in the same place. We might even get to see more and more new weird skibidi toilets in the coming episodes because of how close we are to their base. But before we talk about the skibidi toilets in today's episode, let's talk about the fact that the secret agent is back yet again. As you know, I talked about my theory on the secret agent and how he is watching over plunger cameraman's movements in my other videos, and this episode further confirms my theory. Last time we saw the secret agent was in episode 52 on top of the roof, watching over plunger cameraman yet again. I don't really know the reason behind this, but my guess is that since the plunger cameraman is unique and different compared to other cameramen, maybe he is curious as to why that is, or he is just there to watch their movements and attack at the right time. What do you think? Do you think the secret agent is an enemy or an ally?
I really hope it's an
Personally, I think
ally.
that he is an enemy and will become
Or maybe an anti-hero. Anti-hero.
one of the main villains later on in the series. Also, if you have seen my video about the secret agent, I talked about him most likely having some teleporting tech that allows him to go wherever he wants, whenever he wants, because he is so fast when it comes to movement. This would explain why no one in the Skibidi universe hasn't noticed him yet. I really do wonder when he is actually going to start showing up more. Oh, before we continue on to the newly upgraded Skibidi bathtub, let's not forget to mention the simp cameraman with the brown coat from episode 54. He truly is a hero taking on this mission to impress his one and only true love, the TV woman. He better wins the whole war for her sake. Today's episode was a little hectic when it came to Skibidi toilets. First of all, we can see that large cameramen have changed their stun batons and started dual-wielding the stun guns. We again see the stun guns in use when the rocket launcher helicopter Skibidi toilets come and shoot rockets at the electromagnetic parasite disabler tank. But from what we can see, rockets are useless against the tank now, and it's heavily protected. Also, even though I thought the circular shapes on the back were rocket boosts, it looks like they are some sort of fuel to most likely fuel the parasite disabler beam. Right after this, we get to see a new, upgraded version of the Skibidi bathtub from episode 41. As you know, they most likely died in episode 41, and this is a completely new version.
I actually thought this one over here is a fridge.
Of the Skibidi bathtub. Now they have 5 rocket launchers and 2 jetpacks to be able to fly easily. But their faces change from angry to scared instantly after the arrival of the Titan cameraman, and it doesn't last long before they are dead. We see the Titan cameraman use his blaster on his left hand to kill the one in the middle and punch the one on the right side and just throw them into a building to explode them afterwards. Is it just me, or was Titan cameraman more violent and mad in this episode? It feels like something happened between episode 53, and now that got him so mad. Even though Titan cameraman never had mercy against Skibidi toilets, I feel like this episode he was going a little too hard. Anyways, after he kills the Skibidi bathtub, we see the new UFO-looking toilet that can go to super speeds, just like the glitch toilet again, and he is killing the cameraman helicopters, and Titan cameraman goes to deal with him. But this was sadly a distraction because what's to come was even worse. I'm 100% sure that this was planned out by the Skibidi toilets, and it honestly surprised me. The following seconds are devastating moments for the cameramen. A new Skibidi toilet is introduced, and it's a giant skull Skibidi toilet. The cameramen try and use their stun guns at the same time, but it has no effect because this Skibidi toilet is already dead. Why would he get stunned? This Skibidi toilet most likely is one of the Skibidi toilets that were burned down by Titan cameramen's newly upgraded core, either in episode 50 or 51. The scientist Skibidi toilet somehow found a way to resurrect or use dead Skibidi toilets and bring them back to life, if you can call this life, that is. This new technology that they discovered could turn the tides back and give the Skibidi a huge advantage. Imagine if they use this technology that can resurrect and animate the dead Skibidi toilets all the time. The Alliance would need to kill them not just once, but twice every single time, technically doubling the Skibidi toilet's army size. It's not just that, but the giant skull Skibidi toilet was also very powerful from what we can gather. We see the giant skull Skibidi toilet puking some sort of acid that melts down the new upgraded parasite disabler tank and killing the cameramen that were near the acid instantly. The distraction from the Skibidi toilets worked so well for their side, and they got to destroy the parasite disabler, but this doesn't mean that the giant skull Skibidi toilet can get away with this. Seconds later, we see the Titan cameraman come kicking in and breaking the giant skull Skibidi toilet's helmet and blowing his head up with his beam gun on his left arm. But after shooting the skull toilet, some acid gets on it, and he needs to get rid of it. What does he do?
I'm pretty sure it's nuclear waste because look on the barrel.
He grabs it and throws it onto the skull Skibidi toilets that's on the ground. When the POV looks down, we can't see the giant skull anymore, which most likely implies that it's burnt to its ashes at this point. But the thing is, the Skibidi toilets already won this battle, destroying the parasite disabler. We already saw that the Titan cameraman was enraged in this episode, and I wonder what's going to happen after this point. As you know, Titan cameraman always gave a thumbs up before, But in this episode, he didn't even give a thumbs up. The Skibidi toilets are most likely going to see the bad side of the Titan cameraman in the next episode. I'm actually very hyped about it. What do you think is going to happen in the next episode? Also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you like the plunger cameraman. The new episode starts with the brown-coated cameraman who was simping for TV woman in episode 54 beating a Skibidi toilet. And since this episode is happening almost right after episode 55, I'm gonna assume that the brown-coated cameraman from episode 55 wasn't the same one, since we can clearly see that this brown-coated cameraman has the yellow and purple tie. Maybe he is this mad because he wasn't able to hug the TV woman. Who knows? After this scene, we get a really questionable scene.
Hey, yo.
I think the cameraman on the left covering his cameraman explains everything. This cameraman really needs to bust one out soon, but anyways, right after this, we get to see the TV man fight as well. It looks like even though his TV beams are working, they are not as effective as before, and we finally get to see the TV men use their melee skills for the first time, with him pulling out a secret blade from his wrist and killing two Skibidi toilets back to back. This also reveals us that his head is kind of like the TV woman.
Not just the head, the arm. It literally just snapped in half and twisted.
Head, which had claws and could technically turn 360 degrees, and the only difference being that the TV men head doesn't have any jetpacks that'll allow them to fly their heads. My guess is that TV men use their heads to change their bodies if they get damaged, and their heads are their only weakness. This was also slightly confirmed in episode 47 because the Titan TV man didn't care about any damage happening to his body, but his TV monitor was easily damaged, broken. After this, the POV cameraman gets a notification on his iPad alarming that the electromagnetic parasite disabler tank was destroyed, and the mood changes instantly. The TV man comes in looking at us directly, very disappointed, and he says, "You had one job if you reverse the video." After this, TV man instantly teleports somewhere else. What is he gonna do? Is he going to keep on helping the cameraman, or will the TV race change their sides since the Alliance keeps on failing to cure the infected speaker man? Maybe the TV man will take the matters into his own hands. This seems plausible because of the way he said, "You had one job," and just left. They might gather all the TV man and use the parasite disabler technology themselves to cure the infected speaker man, or maybe straight up kill the infected speaker man before everything goes out of hand. I don't think that we'll know what the TV men are planning for the next couple of episodes, but we'll most likely get a good explanation after 2 or 3 more episodes. After the TV man leaves is when the episode actually starts and we hear a big explosion and see a burning cameraman trying to escape right after another explosion. We get to see the infected Titan speaker man after all that time, and he is not only back, but he is back with a ton of upgrades from the looks of it. Before we talk about what happens later in the video, let's talk about the new upgrades he got. We can clearly see that he changed his speakers on his jetpacks because they used to have white accents on the speakers, and now they are red, and this upgrade most likely strengthened them to a whole other level.
And
they now also have armor-like
and also has one more pulsar gun. Don't forget about that.
Properties that looks like an exoskeleton that goes all over his back, including his new weapons, which now he has 2 instead of 1. But we'll talk about the weapons in a moment. We can also see that now he has a waistband like armor that connects his jetpack to his body. The reason this upgrade is done is mostly because how easy it was to get rid of Cinema Man's upgrades in episode 47 with chainsaws. An extra layer of protection is always good to have. We didn't see...
Those are not chainsaws, Elite Cameraman. I'm sorry. Those are bud saws. I'm sorry.
Him use his core, but I would guess that his core was modified as well, because they know that the Titan cameraman upgraded that as well. Hopefully Speakerman is powerful enough to fight against the Titan cameraman now, and we can get to see an epic fight at the end of the next season between the Titan cameraman and Speakerman. But before we get to that, let's talk about the new weapons the infected Titan Speakerman has, and if they are powerful enough to compete with the other 2 Titans. Now let's talk about the new horrifying weapons the Titan Speakerman has. The second he arrives on the scene, he starts charging his 2 blasters. At least it looks like they are being charged up. This gives me the impression that the firepower of these two weapons is dependent on the charge, and it can change, like anything that can charge, and it looks like it also has a safety mechanism. The 3 claws on the gun looks like if they are retracted, the gun is not working, and he needs to pull them out if he wants to use the weapon. Or maybe it enables the charge-up mode, and without the claws pulled out, it can only shoot small beams, and it's used for quick fire. We can't really know this until we see it in use, but it looks like these weapons might be more powerful compared to Titan Cameramen's old blaster, which got destroyed in episode 55, which might have caused these two Titans to be on the same ground. After we see the Titan Speakerman shoots his new blaster, we see the horrified cameramen trying to run away from the Titan Speakermen trying to save themselves. There is one cameraman who seems smarter than the rest in this scene. And that's because this one cameraman, instead of running towards the open field, he finds an opening on the right and goes in there instead of going with the group. And after the cameraman behind this cameraman sees him running away somewhere else, this other cameraman starts running faster to the left side, going away from the open field with the large cameraman. It doesn't end well for us, as the POV cameraman and the other 2 cameramen ahead of us, because the Titan Speakerman comes in flying and starts using his new speakers on us, literally killing us with sounds. My guess is that these newly upgraded speakers can most likely affect the Titan Cameraman as well. And I really do think that we'll get to see a battle between the 2 Titans in the next season. It'll most likely be like season 15, which included episodes 45 to 47, and was a 3-episode fight between the Titan Speakerman and Cinema Man. I would love to get another season similar to that one, which shows the real power of the Titans going at each other without holding back. They are already very close to each other in the same city. And another thing is the Titan Cameraman is a lot more melee-oriented with his hammer and strength, since now his hand blaster was destroyed, and the Titan Speakerman is not that strong, but he is faster and more agile compared to Titan Cameraman, and now has 2 insanely powerful weapons. It seems like the battle between them will be pretty balanced unless third parties interrupt and cause a scene, just like in episode 47. With the TV man being pissed, it's very possible that we might get to see Cinema Man come back as well, and maybe even see a 2 versus 2 between G-Man, Titan Speakerman against the Titan Cameraman and Cinema Man. If this battle were to happen, it would be crazy to watch. What do you think is going to happen in the coming episodes? If TV men help with the Titan Speakerman stuff, I really don't see a future where he doesn't get cured, or maybe even survive, since he might even get killed. What do you think of the new Titan Speakerman? Do you think he is stronger than the upgraded Titan Cameraman, or are they on similar power levels? And when do you think Cinema Man will come back, because it seems like his return might be the deciding factor in the upcoming battle and could decide who wins the battle? I also have one more thing to add. As you remember in episode 55, the Titan Cameraman seemed very pissed off and already was going crazy against the Skibidi toilets, and at the end of that episode he was even more pissed because of the tank being destroyed. Him being so mad might come as an advantage to him, and if he can use it well, he should have the upper hand while going against the Titan Speakerman. But the thing is, we might not have seen the full power and upgrades of the infected Titan Speakerman. If you caught any secrets that I didn't mention, let me know in the comments, and I would really appreciate it if you liked the video and subscribed, since we are getting very
Loading.
Hello everyone, Elite Cameraman here.
Okay, this is the
Today
bonus.
we'll go over every special cameraman that has appeared in the series so far. We'll talk about their abilities, skills, limits, how they came to be, and how they are an essential part of the war. So make sure to watch the video until the end. We also just reached 100,000 subscribers in just 21 days. Thanks for all the support since the beginning.
Yep, like and subscribe, go check out his channel, and then like and subscribe to his channel, and also help him reach 150k, and also maybe help me reach 100 subs.
As you know, we have seen a couple of outliers in the cameraman race, and the reason is unknown, but they seem to be more brave and seem to be a little bit more intelligent compared to others. This list includes the mech scientist cameraman, plunger cameraman, camerawoman, CCTV toilet, and more. There is a lot to talk about, so let's start. Before we get to characters like the plunger cameraman, let's start with 2 camera entities that are so rare that we've only seen these types of cameras only 2 times. Both these camera entities are not counted as cameramen, but they still have their own consciousness but seem to be only obeying commands of the cameramen. Of course, the first one is the camera toilet that we saw in episode 16. It's a CCTV camera attached to a Skibidi toilet and was used to spy on one of the Skibidi toilet labs. This place was also the first time we saw the scientist's Skibidi toilet. If you want to see a video about him, make sure to comment it down below. Anyways, even though he did not have a good ending, he was doing his duties. We don't really know the extent of their intelligence, but it looks like they can move and act on their own. But they just obey whatever they are told, since the camera toilet just goes inside the lab after the POV cameraman tells him to go inside. The second Skibidi toilets see that he is not an actual Skibidi toilet. They start going crazy and start attacking him. We can see this through the tablet the POV cameraman has, and we saw a similar tablet to this one in episode 56 as well, and it also had a serial number saying Cameraman _1247, which could have two meanings. This is either the serial number of the owner of the tablet, or it's watching the Cameraman _1247S POV. This also means that the cameramen have more than 1247 members in their race, which is a lot since we most likely haven't seen even half of them, while TV men most likely don't even have more than 10 members from what we can see, and as you know, speaker men are going extinct slowly. We haven't seen any other camera entities like this other than these ones, but I'm sure that we'll get to see it more. Before we...
Let me just... Never mind, it's not visible.
Talk about the mech scientist cameraman that appeared in episode 54, let's talk about how his technology could be used for the CCTV cameras. If the mech technology gets better and better, cameramen can most likely produce CCTV mech cameras that can take commands and become an essential part of the army while going against the Skibidi toilets. They can just take commands and go to the front lines of the war, lowering the casualties by a lot. Imagine if these mechs can be mass-produced, it would really put a real toll on the Skibidi toilets. The mech scientist cameraman is one of the most special cameramen alongside the plunger cameraman. He is the outlier in the scientist cameraman community. He was introduced with the plunger cameraman in episode 45, and we got to see him with the plunger cameraman in episode 48 from his point of view. He was believed to be dead in this episode since he was cut in half by the extremely powerful buzzsaw Skibidi toilet. But to our surprise, he remained alive and was able to come back from his lowest point in episode 54.
Wait. What if it's just only his top body? I don't see a torso. Or is that maybe? I'm not sure. It's just a theory.
We can clearly see that the mech doesn't have a place for legs and his body is cut in half, and with his brilliant mind he was able to find a way to move around and actually fight. Even though we haven't seen him in action, his skill set is most likely one of the best compared to everyone else. When we look at the mecha cameraman, we can clearly see that the weapon used on the left top was the weapon that shot the stun dart that stunned the glitch Skibidi toilet that came back, which put him in a state of complete freeze. My guess is that they are going to take the glitch Skibidi toilet into the scientist cameraman lab and study how he can go up to speeds that are invisible to the eye, and maybe start using Skibidi tech to improve the cameraman technology, because when you think about it, even though Skibidi toilets were always salvaging technology from other species and using everything they got to improve their toilets, the Alliance never did this. We only saw them destroy and kill the Skibidi toilets, and this is the first time we see them freezing an enemy to study it. If they start doing this more, this could actually propel them to become the winners of this war.
True.
When it comes to the weapon on the bottom left, it's clearly a modified version of the new stun beam weapons that the cameramen have, which we saw at the beginning of this episode. And as we all know at this point, the weapon on the right top is an electromagnetic parasite disabler that's modified to fit the mech. The weapon on the bottom right is an unknown firearm identical to the pulse rifle from Half-Life 2. Even though we don't know what this weapon does in the Skibidi toilet universe, we know that it's a dark, energy-powered assault rifle in the Half-Life universe. We'll most likely get to see all the weapons in action in the coming episodes when we see the mech cameraman again.
I really hope so.
Now let's get to the plunger cameraman. We've been seeing him a lot more compared to before. As you know, the plunger cameraman is one of the main characters right now, but that wasn't always the case. He started off as a side character, being foreshadowed at first, is what you might think, but we actually got a glimpse of him even before his presence was shown to us. In episode 9, we see a black cameraman that looks like he has the same suit as the plunger cameraman that's escaping from the skibbity toilet cops while dancing. We can't really know if this is the plunger cameraman because it looks like he has a red tie, and this cameraman does have the vibes of a cameraman that's unique. This still might be incorrect, but we never see him get captured or killed in episode 9. And knowing the plunger cameraman, he always has something up his sleeve, so I really do think that it's him. After this point, the first time we see the plunger cameraman is in episode 43 with the scientist cameraman, but that's the first time we see him, not the first time we are introduced to him. In episode 39, we are watching a POV from a cameraman that's pretty skilled, and this is the first time we see a cameraman use a plunger. This was the first time we were introduced to the plunger cameraman. At this point in time, he didn't even have his second plunger and was fighting with just one plunger. This battle was one of his early adventures, and if it wasn't for TV men that were introduced in this episode, he most likely would have died, and we would have been left without a double plunger cameraman that we love and adore now. This fight most likely opened his eyes up and made him want to become more powerful. My guess is that after seeing how easily the TV men handled all the skibidi toilets, he most likely started searching for ways to become more powerful since he already was unique and already was one step ahead of other cameramen because of his weapon. This also makes him one of the main inspirations to other cameramen, and them trying to get on his level from what we can see in episode 53. The only problem is in episode 55, it looked like he was a little too deep in his thoughts. With all the attention towards him and all the battles he has been fighting lately, it might be that he is getting tired or had a realization of the expectations that's put on him after becoming an actual hero for the whole race. He is most likely the most powerful cameraman after the Titan cameraman because of his skill set. Most normal cameramen struggle while killing a normal skibbity toilet, and even plunger cameraman was like this in the beginning. Also in episode 55, we can see that plunger cameraman doesn't have the blue shine anymore. This probably means that it was only a flashlight instead of a sign for power, since it was only open during the nighttime episodes, and once it became morning, it went away. Before we get to Titan cameraman, let's talk about the camerawoman. The camerawoman was first seen in episode 29 of the Skibidi Toilet series. The camerawoman in episode 29 was doing a Fortnite dance, had different clothes, and had a different body compared to now. Moments after, while the camerawoman and the rest of her friends were dancing, a glitch toilet kills them all. She most likely was a prototype of the camerawoman that we saw in episode 52, because the camerawoman we see on episode 52 is heavily upgraded and pretty overpowered. In episode 52, we can clearly see that the plunger cameraman and the camerawoman knew each other beforehand. I don't know what type of relationship they had, but it seemed like they were close enough. We also get to see what type of abilities the camerawoman has in episode 52. She starts weirdly beeping, which seems like she is glitching, but when you carefully watch it, you can see that she is selecting targets one by one and locking onto the skibidi toilet wave that's on the way to our beloved heroes, which honestly looks so overpowered, but compared to her main ability, it's nothing. After selecting all the targets, her camera lens goes red, opening deadly combat mode, and a sniper comes out of her back and she starts one-shooting every single skibidi toilet on the street, which even takes the double plunger cameraman by surprise. Even though these skibidi toilets weren't really high-grade skibidi toilets, one of them were a spider helicopter skibidi toilet. But we are most likely going to start seeing her powers displayed a lot more in the coming episodes. In episode 53, she disappears randomly in the beginning. We don't know what exactly happened, but it's assumed that she either has teleportation abilities or someone from the TV race teleported her to somewhere else, because it would be impossible for her to go so far that quickly. Another fact is that this camerawoman is the first entity from the camera species to be integrated with a weapon other than the newly upgraded Titan cameraman. Even this fact alone makes her one of the most powerful cameramen, most likely on the same scale as the plunger cameraman when she is fighting from long range. But we haven't seen her fight melee, and I'm going to assume that she has no capabilities when it comes to melee unless we are missing something. Now let's talk about Titan Cameraman, the strongest among the whole cameraman race. We all most likely know that the upgraded Titan Cameraman is most likely the strongest character in the series, unless the secret agent has special powers that exceeds him. Or it might be that the newly upgraded Titan Speakerman is stronger than him, but we'll most likely see that in the coming episodes, which in my opinion will be fights between the two Titans. What makes the upgraded Titan Cameraman so OP is that he has an insane variety of skills at this point. As you know, he has his core, which shoots blue flames, and his laser blaster on his left hand. Even though it was destroyed in episode 55, it might get replaced with the help of the scientist Cameraman. He has his hammer that's insanely powerful, and
maybe they can replace it with the parasite disabler. You know? Then he can just wield it and then just attack the Titan Speakerman like that. That might work. Or maybe a multi-gun. A stun gun and the electromagnetic parasite disabler.
Also his right hand, which can change into different weapons, including a magnet hand and a finger gun. This hand most likely has even more variations than we haven't seen so far. The only disadvantage the Titan Cameraman has is that he is very slow and heavy, and this is not something that'll ever change. We can also see that the new Titan Speakerman is very fast when it comes to movement, so that might make him hard to deal with. We saw this problem first in episode 53 when he tried to kill the UFO Skibidi toilet and failed. Even with all this, he still destroys the power charts. Hopefully we get to see him fight more in the coming episodes. Let me know who your favorite Skibidi toilet is in the comments. Also make sure to subscribe and like the video if you enjoy.
Yep, go subscribe to him. Get him to 150k subs and help maybe get me to 100 subs, please. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.